Hello, I'm the Media Wiz, because one art form wasn't enough, and today we're delving yet again into the world of Sonic ripoffs. This review came about when I was doing research for the Bubsy retrospective. As I mentioned in that review, Sonic the Hedgehog was very popular when he first hit the scene, and a ton of companies tried making their own radical animal mascot with attitude! And with a couple exceptions, most of these copycats range from terrible to just plain forgettable. And one game amongst all these titles was Awesome Possum Kicks Dr. Machino's Butt. And the thing is, I was told about this game long before I even looked it up for the Bubsy episode. Back in 2015, Critical Kid told me about this game when we were just spitballing video ideas. Well, I finally get to talk about it now. The game was made by Tengen for the Sega Genesis in 1993, just after Sonic 2 and right before Sonic 3. And just one more thing I wanted to mention before we actually start the game. This game was made to have an environmental message, so let's keep that in perspective, and let's see how the game is. This is Awesome Possum for Sega Genesis. So the game begins with the evil Dr. Machino sending his army of robots to spread pollution and endanger wildlife, and then our hero, Awesome Possum, rises from the ashes to take on the baddie and his goons. The game consists of 4 levels, worlds consisting of a forest level, an underwater level, an arctic level, and the final level being Machino's lair. As each level goes, you help pick up trash and take out these generic deforestation robots.
Yeah, you're kind of slacking off on the house shaking here, Ron.
Also look out for these floating robots that shoot lasers at you and these spikes that come out of the ground. The controls themselves aren't as good as the Genesis Sonic games, but they're still easier to adapt to compared to something like Bubsy. The controls are more designed to be like Sonic with the ways that you jump, run down platforms, and even roll into enemies. Okay, yeah, they were definitely trying to make this like Sonic. A lot of the sound bites for Awesome Possum usually have him saying a bunch of quips and non sequiturs, and after a while they just seem like they're really try hard. Like, hey kids, this character's cool, right?
That was really bad. Oh, that was incredible. Oh boy, I'm so healthy and so cool.
Another key element to the gameplay is that they give you these animal characters who can help speed you through the level. Like earlier we had a bee, and now we're on the back of a rhino. I would say this is a Donkey Kong Country ripoff, but this actually came a year before it. First of the bosses is this automaton with a buzzsaw hand and tank treads. He is pretty easy to take out. Just jump and bounce off of his head a couple of times and he just kind of disappears. And then you get these sections that show up either if you die or if you're between levels where you have to answer nature-related questions. Okay, yeah, whatever. Next up is the underwater level. Basically, you gotta protect all the marine life you can from these mini-submarines, and instead of a rhino, you hop onto the back of a stingray. Maybe I'm just getting used to the gameplay, but the controls are actually a little bit easier to work with this time around. The boss of the level is this guy who looks like Captain Cutler from Scooby-Doo, and again, just jump on his head a couple of times, and he's down for the count. The Arctic level is next, and things go back to being a platformer style like in level 1. Work your way around the scaffolding, pipes, and these downward slide-like platforms. The animal helper you get this time around to take you halfway through the level is a bird. Awesome Possum and this bird would then later fly to a small California city called Half Moon Bay to meet up with this guy's airborne brethren, where they would then partake in a standoff between them and a bunch of humans flailing coat hangers. Kinda weird they decided to single those people out, because one of those guys was really into selling sorpaus.
Thinking about opening up a green tech company.
And as for the level boss, yeah, you probably guessed what happens with this one. You just jump on him a couple of times and yeah, we get it. Good to see what Mason from Stan Helsing was doing years before he was in that film. There's really no strategy when it comes to these boss fights. It's just keep your distance from the bad guy's weapon and just jump on them. I mean, it's got more going on compared to Bubsy, but that's really not saying much. Man, for all the things I said about Moonwalker, at least the difficulty was a sign of progression in the game. Alright, now we're at the last level, Dr. Machino's lair, which as you'd guess is one big junkyard, complete with wannabe C-3POs with chainsaws and angry-looking robot dogs running around. This level is about the same level of difficulty as the other ones, but it's easily the longest lasting. I guess they figured if they made this go on for a while, that would justify it being the finale. They even throw in the animal trivia segments halfway through this one. Eventually we come face to face with the mad scientist himself, Dr. Machino, who kinda looks like a Sonic version of the villain from Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
I must see to it that you die.
Come on.
Awesome, Possum kicks Dr. Machino's butt.
I'm awesome.
As you defeat Machino, you do as the title says and you kick him in the ass, and then the game ends with Awesome Possum being rewarded by having his face put on Mount Rushmore? So that was Awesome Possum for Sega Genesis, and yeah, it's not very good. If I can say one or two passable things about the game, it has decent graphics, and there is gameplay, which is more I could say about this than something like Barney's Hide and Seek. It's just that the gameplay is trying way too hard to be like Sonic, much like the first two Bubsy games. And the environmental message is there, and it can be preachy, but it handled it better than something like Birdemic?
Man, that was a good movie, an inconvenient truth.
I mean, it's a lot like Captain Planet. It's not that having environmental messages is bad per se, it's just a very cheesy, dated 90s way of going about it. I think the only thing that this game was missing was a part where Awesome Possum says that he's all about going grank and using alternative fuels.
Cool Cat loves alternative fuels, so that there wasn't really anything out there that told children about going grank and being nice to the environment.
Overall, this wasn't a very good game. It's not one of the worst games I've ever reviewed, but it's just so obvious that they were trying to replicate Sonic and didn't even try to make their own thing. I guess it's better than Bubsy just because it didn't have an abundance of sequels, but even still, if you want a Sonic game, just play the original Sonic Genesis games. I'm the Media Wiz, because one art form wasn't enough. Did Media Wiz just give you a video game?
Oh yeah, he did. It's Awesome Possum for Sega Genesis.
Well, I certainly hope you enjoy it. Last video game I got was Bible Buffet when me and MC Swigga did that collab.
This game sucks.